To go to the most exclusive nightclubs in New York City, you need either fame, money, power, connections, or beauty. This is how I use social engineering to go to these clubs despite having none of these things. And this lesson about human nature applies to way more than just New York City nightlife. The person who rules the club is the door person. The door person, surrounded by bodyguards and security, is the one who decides who goes into the club and who stays out. Night after night, I would show up to these clubs and get turned away. Guest list only, that's what they would tell me. I wasn't allowed in. I had none of these things. They weren't gonna let me in. Here's what I did. When I would get turned away, I would very politely be like, it's all good. What's your name? The door person would give me their name and I'd say, nice to meet you, and then I would leave. A few days later, I would return. Now here's a trick to human nature. The sweetest sound to a person's ear is their name. And I would roll up to the door confidently and I would say with their name, if their name was Dave, I would say, hey Dave, how's it going? What's up? And Dave would recognize me because he had turned me away a few days later, but he wouldn't know why he recognized me. And because I was so positive and I was using these door guys' names, they thought they recognized me because they had let me into their club. Really, they had turned me away, but they didn't remember. They just recognized me and I was happy and positive and I was using their names, so they thought I was going to their clubs anyway. I kept a huge list on my phone of these door people's names around New York City. And I would roll up to any of these clubs and say their names and get let in because they all thought they knew me. And after a few times of this, then these people started to know me and I got the connections from not having the connections. I just made a podcast about this story over at edwardspod.com. There's so much more to it and I talk about the exact parties that I went to. Remember, the sweetest sound to a person is their name.